Now all our Redux magic is complete. Now let's integrate it with our app itself. So in index folder, we're going to use a provider. Now, what is a provider? Provider is a component in React which provides the store itself to the other components. Like I showed you in this diagram, all our components can get access to this store, but it should be wrapped inside a provider. So let me show you what it is. Let's import provider from React Redux, and now we are getting this error. It is saying that it couldn't find the declaration files. Now, so that the TypeScript understands what this module is, what React Redux is, what it exports, we have to install a declaration file. You can copy this command from here and we can run it. So what this does, it downloads some types files. As we define types for our own project, there are some types defined for React Redux package itself. And we are going to save it as a dev dependency. So this is something you should remember in TypeScript, that you can install types for all packages which are not natively written in TypeScript but written in JavaScript. These declaration files helps TypeScript to understand the module itself, what it exports, what functions it exports, what components it exports, and all that. Okay, so these types are installed. Now, as you can see, the error has gone as it can find those types files. Now we are going to wrap our app component inside the provider, and we have to pass a store to this. We have to create a store and pass it to this. Now we have to import create store from Redux. What this function does is it creates a store, and we have to pass all the reducers we have defined to this. So let's import the reducers. I'm going to call it root reducer from reducers, and it is, as it is an index file, we can directly import the folder itself. And we have to pass all the reducer after combining them to this create store function. Now our store can be accessed by any component wrapped inside this provider. As I showed you in the diagram, we have to connect all our components to the store using the connect function. So let's import it. We want to import connect from React Redux. The way we use this component is, while exporting our app, we have to call this function like this, connect, and we have to pass this app to whatever the connect function returns, like this. What connect does is it gives us access to the state, and it allows us to run those action creators we had created. Now let's import those action creators that we have created. So we have to import from action index, and we can import delete to do function action creator, mark complete, and mark incomplete. We need these action creators. We have to pass these action creators to the connect function as a configuration, so that this connect function will pass those action creators to the app component. So we'll set the first parameter letter, so let me set it to null, and the second parameter is all the action creators we need. So we have to pass an object here and call all those action creators here. So we have delete to do, mark complete, and mark incomplete. All right. And to get access to this is for getting access to the action creators and calling them, but to get access to the state itself, we have to pass a first parameter. The first parameter is a function. We'll name it map state to props. and we have to pass it as the first parameter. What it does is it converts the state stored in a Redux store to the props for this app component. So what we get here is the first parameter is state. So our state is going to be of a specific type. Where do we get this type? We get it from a types folder. Let's import it. Let's import store type from types/store type, and we set it to a state like that. And whatever this function returns is set as the prop for this app. So if I return we're going to return an object here, so we can return complete as state dot complete, and incomplete as state dot incomplete. As we are getting this autocomplete because we have set this state variable as a store type. Finally, our app is going to get access to the state and get access to the action creators and call them from the component. Now, all this state is mapped to the props, and all these action creators are also mapped to the props. But if I go into this prop section here and I destructure it as complete, TypeScript gives me this error that it doesn't know what complete is, because we have not told TypeScript what props we are going to eventually get. To do that, we use generics like we used for reducers. So for this, I'm going to make another file which will define the props we are going to get for this component. It is going to be called app prop type.tsx. And here I'm going to export. I'm going to create an interface first called app prop type, and export this as default app prop. So what props are we going to get? We are going to get a complete prop, which is going to be of type complete. So we have to import those types. Let's import from types store type. What do we need? We need complete, and incomplete. So first parameter we are going to get as complete, and second parameter we are going to get incomplete. We are also going to get 3 action creators. So let's import those 2 types for them too. So it's going to be types action creator types, delete, complete, and incomplete. I'm going to copy these names directly from here so that I don't make any mistakes while typing. And the type is going to be of delete, to do action creator, mark complete action creator, mark incomplete action creator, like that. Now we are going to import this types, this prop type file. So let's import it. Import app prop type from app prop type. We're going to pass this as a generic. So when we are destructuring our props, we are going to get this autocomplete of all the props we have defined it is going to return. So let's import let's just destructure everything we need. Mark complete and mark incomplete. That's all. So TypeScript now knows which props we are going to get, and that's why we can destructure so easily. Now let's make use of all these props, but first I'm going to just start our server. Let that happen in background. So first we're going to render complete and incomplete to-dos. I'm going to make a extra function which is going to handle all the rendering of these to-dos. So let's call it render list. And we have to pass type, which is going to be either be complete or incomplete. And with this argument, we are going to decide on which list we have to render. So let's say I'm going to just copy this list group. We're going to return this. The server started like this. So the title is going to depend on what type of list we want to render. So we can call it like this. And the variant is going to depend on what type again. So we're going to use ternary operator here. So when type is equal to complete, then I want this to be green color, or I want this to be red color. To know if you want to loop through the complete or incomplete, we are going to define a variable called looper, and we're going to set it depending on the type. So if type is equal to complete, then we're going to loop through completed list, or we're going to loop through incomplete list. And then I can map on looper. We have to use the curly braces, and we do it like this: looper.map, and we're going to get the to do itself and the index of that array. And as we're going to return, so we call return like this. We're going to return this list group item like this, and the content itself is going to be to do. So let's add that, and we have to assign a key. As we know in React, we have to assign a key so that React can identify that list group differently. So we're going to unique key as index. If we are rendering incomplete list, then we want a check sign here. But if we are rendering complete list, then we want a minus sign here. So we're going to use JavaScript template literals for this. The way to do that is like this. And we're going to pass an expression here. Like this. So if type is equal to complete, then I want this to be minus, and if it is not equal to complete, I want this to be check, like that. And that's it. So now basic rendering is complete. Now let's call these functions first. So I'm going to remove this and call wait, I have to use curly braces again, render list, and I'm going to call it first for complete. I'm going to call the exact same function for incomplete. Now this list is empty in the beginning, so we are going to add more items to the to do using the input element. Now let's add functionality to this component. So when I click the add button, I want to add a new to do to the incomplete list. So let's add an event. On click, we're going to call a function, and I'm going to call add to do. We're going to define it right now. Let's define the function const add to do. And we're going to get access to this input element. The way to do that is using reference. Let's import a hook called useRef, like that, and let's initialize it. So we're going to call it const input is equal to useRef null. We're going to pass this reference to the input element. So we have this form control. We're going to pass it as a ref to this, like that. Then we can get access to it using input dot current dot value. This won't work right now. We have to define the type of element which this useRef is going to reference. So way to do that is using generics, and the type we are going to use is HTML input element. Let's do HTML input element. So now TypeScript knows that this reference would always refer a input element. Now input.current can sometimes be null, so we have to implement a type guard. So way we do that is using an if statement. So if input dot current is not null, means it is set, then we can get the value using input dot current dot value. As you can see, it is giving me this autocomplete because I told it that this reference is going to be for an input element. Now as we have got the value, we're going to call our mark incomplete function with this new value. Let's add the functionality for marking the to-dos as incomplete or complete or deleting the to-dos. So we have to add a on-click event handler here. This event handler is going to call different functions depending on the type. If the type is complete, then we are going to call mark complete with this specific to-do, or we are going to call mark incomplete with the specific to-do. And for deleting the to-do, we have to add an on-click event handler here as well. Let's write an arrow function and call delete to-do with a current to-do. I'm also quickly going to add a link to FontAwesome API in our public index.html. So this is my own FontAwesome kit. This will render all the icons easily. We have to actually reverse this because when our to-do is in the complete section, when we click on the button, we want it to move to incomplete section. This should be when the complete is run, and mark complete should run when the type is incomplete, like this. Now let's test our application. So task 1, task 2. If I click on the tick, it gets completed. If I click on the minus, it again comes into incomplete, and I can delete these to-dos as well. Okay, this is all for this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.